Yo, what is up everyone, Jay here with another video, and today we're going to be taking a look at the first official Smash Ultimate tier list. I usually don't make videos talking about Smash, or at least I haven't made a video where I'm actually commentating for Smash in a long time. I usually just post my clips and whatnot, and I usually avoid tier list talk altogether, especially for Ultimate, for multiple reasons. Well, one, tier list talk can be incredibly toxic and annoying. And number two, it does, as you guys know, as a Marth main, it does hurt to see Marth, in the lower mid-tier area considered worse than Lucina. And I understand why, people think he's worse than Lucina. And we'll get into that, obviously, here. But yeah, I just want to make this video because this is the first official tier list for Ultimate. And, the Ultimate's been out for 4 years, 3 years plus now. So, the fact that we're actually getting the closest thing to an actual tier list is pretty cool because we've never really had one. Yeah, Smash 4 had one, obviously Melee has one, every Smash game does, but Ultimate, being the crazy game that it is with as many characters as it does, it's got the most characters in Smash history, obviously, having a tier list is actually pretty cool. And this is not just some random tier list that someone made up. As you can see, it's got a lot of traction going on. It came out yesterday, and it is compiled by top players, and is compiled by just people in the community, and I think it's run a little bit by some Microsoft company or some kind of this platform, this Start GG. I'm guessing it's some kind of AI thing or some kind of a program that helps compile all the data, because it's not just the pins of the players, there's also a bunch of metrics and data, like I said, that tries to put it together. Because a tier list is not a definitive thing at the end of the day. It's just something that tries and attempts to put everything into one thing. But obviously a tier list is not the end all be all. It should never be seen as the end all be all. Any of these characters can succeed. It's just obvious that the ones near the top are more likely to and those are the ones that you see the most. But anyways, let's look at this real quick. I just wanted to leave my thoughts on it because, like I said, I do try to avoid this talk most of the time, but for the first one I thought I'd make a quick video about it. So yeah, S+ tier, we're going to start with Steve. Steve being the best character in the game. This is not really surprising. You guys know how I feel about Steve. I feel about Steve like most everyone else. Steve is a very obnoxious and annoying character. He even has some new tech now that can, cancel his hit stun, which is just ridiculous. Like, he was just I'm not against Steve, the idea. It's just his design is completely ridiculous, and he has so much stuff and so much combos, and he's like never fun to fight. I've never had fun fighting Steve in my life. A lot of the other top tiers in here that might be annoying, I've had fun fighting them. But Steve is not one of those characters, but he does, I guess, deserve number one, even though he's not like the most common character ever compared to some of the other characters. He's still just that good. So yeah, Steve number one is kind of crazy. Number two is the Aegis Girls, Pyra and Mythra. Makes sense. They're very versatile. Mythra being the fast combo getter and Pyra getting the kills like that. They're very, very strong. They have some of the best juggles in the game. They have some of the best smash attacks in the game, some of the best confirms in the game. They kill very early. Joker, we all know Joker's MKLeo has carried this character. Joker is a beast. He's just so good. He's got everything you could really want. He's got projectiles, got great recovery, kill power, throw combos. Like, he's got about everything, so Joker makes sense. Next we have Sonic, Fox, Rob, Kazuya, Roy, and Peach and Daisy in the S, or I guess the middle part of this S tier. And this makes sense. Sonic, is one of those characters that unfortunately is misrepresented in Smash, in my opinion. I think he is Sonic could have been designed a lot better, because a lot of Sonic fans don't think this is the best representation of him. For me, the thing I hate the most is the smash attack. That move is absolutely stupid and ridiculous. But yeah, Sonic in S tier. I mean, it's just sad that the fastest character in the game and the fastest character in video games is also the character that makes the matches the longest, because he can camp you out. But that is what it is. Next is Fox. Fox being there makes sense. A lot of Fox fans will tell you, including Light, that he's not in this tier, but Fox is amazing. He's got some of the best combos in the game. And obviously, even though he's very fragile and exploitable with his recovery, if you were on point, he's got a ton of mix-ups with his recovery. And, me as a Fox secondary, I can see why he's up here. Rob being up here is also pretty annoying. Rob is amazing with his cheap throws and just confirms that kill really, really easily. Rob being top tier is something I never would have thought would happen, but the change to the faster engine definitely helped him. So that's Rob. Kazuya makes sense being here. I know some people might be surprised he's not in the top of the top, but Kazuya has some clear weaknesses. It's easier said than done, obviously, but you can wall him out, and he does have an explodable recovery. And he also has a high skill window, so you can't just pick him up and play him as easily as the other characters because you have to know all the inputs and whatnot. So, but even despite those things, he's one of the best characters in the game for sure. Has one of the most broken moves ever with Electric Wind God Fist. Should I say. So Kazuya being there makes sense. Roy and Chrom used to be right next to each other, like in the first few years of Ultimate. But now Roy, I can say, is clearly better because now people are realizing, okay, Chrom's recovery is really holding him back. And obviously that's just one aspect, but it's a huge thing in Smash where you have to recover. So Roy having a better, more reliable recovery helps him, and also I think he just has better, he kills easier than Chrom for the most part, even though Chrom has a more consistent sword like Lucina does. Roy can get those inner hits really easily, so Roy being in here makes sense. Peach, Daisy, one of the most technical characters in the game. Definitely very deserving. Peach is really, really tough to fight sometimes. She's amazing, though. I'm glad that she's up here. I like Peach a lot. Next is Cloud. Cloud, at the beginning of Ultimate, you guys remember, Cloud was not seen as the best character because he was heavily nerfed from Smash 4. But, players like Spargo have definitely raised him up on the map. And, of course, him getting some buffs are really nice. So Cloud, I'm glad he's up here because Cloud's my boy. He's one of my favorite video game characters. Cloud Derby makes sense. Wolf, makes sense he's up here. I mean, I don't think he's ever going to be below here because he's just too good of a character not to be, even though usage of him might have fallen off. Wolf is just amazing. He's got some of the most spammable smash attacks. He's got reliable throw combos, good recovery, or decent recovery, should I say. Wolf is just an amazing character overall. Really, really good. Diddy Kong, another character that it's just like Cloud. At the beginning of the game, they weren't seen that great, but then they started moving up because people realized that, hey, he's still got stuff, even though he's not as, I guess, dominant as he was in Smash 4. Diddy Kong is still amazing. Pikachu, there was one point where Pikachu was considered like top 5, but I guess there just isn't enough people playing him. But Pikachu's amazing. Pac-Man, I'm sad to see in the S tier because Pac-Man is one of those characters that frustrates me very much because it's like he already is super campy and super duper annoying to get through, through his wall of projectiles. But once you get through, he's still got hands. Like, he can still combo you. He's got short hollow double fair. Like, this character is like the glow up from Smash 4. And even Smash 4, he wasn't that bad. But now with Ultimate, with engine being faster, it's kind of like Rob, where he just benefits really well. So Pac-Man is crazy, kind of stupid design, but Pac-Man being here makes sense. Snake is next. Snake is very annoying. He's another character that I hate fighting. I've never enjoyed fighting a Snake, pretty much. Similar thing to Pac-Man, where he's just a projectile heavy character, but him being here makes sense. Min, probably arguably the character I hate fighting the most. Min is just walling you out, and it is incredibly unfun, especially if you're a Marth man like me, where you don't have any projectiles or anything to really get in reliably. Min is just obnoxious. Palutena being S tier, she has fallen off a bit from the first few years of Ultimate. With Nairo not being around anymore in tournaments especially, but Palutena is still amazing. She's got one of the best combo games and aerial games in the game. Mr. Game & Watch, another character I'm not happy to see here, but Game & Watch makes sense. He's really obnoxious to fight. He's got spammable smash attacks that you can't really punish, amazing recovery, good combos, reliable combos, and it's very, very hard to hit because of how small he is. And then Shulk being an S tier. I'm kind of surprised to see him, but Shulk has the potential to be he's a very versatile character because of Monado Arts, and you can't really sleep on him because he has so much range, and you have to respect him really because of his versatility. So Shulk, if you haven't fought a good Shulk, definitely try to, because he can be very annoying. So that is the S plus tier, or the S tier should I say, for this tier list. I think it's pretty solid. Is there any characters from the A tier that I would put in there? I'm not sure. You could argue Zero Suit. I feel like Zero Suit would have been higher here a couple years ago, but her grab being nerfed definitely did not help. And I think if she had the same grab, or at least a somewhat decent grab, where she can at least get something off of it, would have made her higher. But because of the lack of grab, I think that kind of hurt her. Terry, I think, also has a decent argument for S+, because he's like Kazuya, where he's super technical, obviously, but he's not as, I guess he doesn't have as much kill power, but he's still very, very strong. But yeah, this is the tier list. I'm not going to go over every single tier, but we can glaze over them. I just want to talk about the S+ tier, and obviously where Marth places. But yeah, let's go down to where Marth places. He is in the B- tier, which isn't bad, honestly. I thought that he would be maybe even lower. I was hoping he'd be B+. I think he's in B+. I think he's in A, honestly. you guys know me. I'm a Marth believer. I think Marth is just as good as Lucina, or if not, almost just as good. And the reason why Marth is not seen as good as Lucina in Ultimate is because, first of all, I think one of the reasons is Lucina actually got taller in this game. When Smash 4, when Marth was considered better than Lucina in Smash 4, I think part of the reason was because Lucina was not as tall. So she could not reach as high with her sword. But now that they're like the same height pretty much, helps her. Also with the engine of Ultimate being faster, it's a little harder for Marth to space tippers, which makes sense. And against a lot of fast characters and smaller characters like Pichu and Game & Watch, it's very hard for Marth to space tippers. So Lucina just having the full sword without having to worry about spacing does help in a lot of matchups, and most people prefer that, and it's understandable. And however, though, even despite that, Marth's tippers are so strong. They're like the strongest they've ever been, and if you are good at spacing, it does reward you, and that's one of the reasons I love Marth, is because he does reward you for spacing. And obviously spacing is important for every character, but it's the most important for Marth. So you guys have seen my clips, you guys have seen my videos. My Marth puts in work, and Marth can just do amazing things just like Lucina, and he can combo better than Lucina in some ways because of the weak hit of his sword. So he has some stuff that Lucina doesn't. So I definitely think the gap between Marth and Lucina should not be that high. However, if you look, the gap between Chrom and Roy is even more, which I didn't even notice. So the gap between Chrom and Roy I don't think is that much, but like I said, the recovery aspect definitely dropped the opinion of Chrom, because Chrom used to be like considered one of the best, but then, you know, as time went on, people realized. But I definitely think Marth should be way up here. He should be an A- tier at least, in my opinion. People just don't sleep. They just sleep on him because they don't see him as much. And you know, the one problem with the Smash community, in my opinion, is that we idolize top players too much, and obviously we saw that with the incidents in 2020. But we idolize top players too much to the point where we will believe anything they say, especially like normies in the community, people who are on a more casual level. You know, they will say whatever the top player says, and obviously this tier list is not influenced by, you know, random Twitch viewers, but still. Top players do definitely sleep on Marth as well. I definitely think he should be higher. You guys have seen what I've done with him. He's an amazing character that has almost as much as, I mean, more combos than Lucina in some aspects. And in my opinion, if you are good at spacing, you can be just as good. Just because the sword is not as strong through the whole thing doesn't mean he's weaker, in my opinion. But obviously, he does have issues. I think they have done Marth dirty in some aspects with some of his hitboxes. You know, the tipper not being as reliable as it used to be compared to like Smash 4. Where like when I've been playing Marth since day one of this game, and I played Marth day one in Ultimate, or Smash 4, should I say? And sometimes I'm playing Ultimate and I do like a move, and it's like that should have tippered, and that happened in Smash 4, but it happens the most in Ultimate because there's just something with the hitboxes. I can't say for sure. I don't have any proof of it really, but sometimes like I do an up tilt on a platform, for example, and it doesn't tipper. I'm like, okay, that would have tippered in Smash 4, you know what I mean? So those things do definitely hurt, but obviously it's not gonna stop me from playing my boy. He is my he's my boy, and I'll always rock with my main character. But it's just unfortunate what happened to Marth in this game and how people view him. But I definitely think he should not be this low compared to Lucina. Like, but obviously Lucina has more results. But yeah, that is pretty much my opinions on Marth. You can see the rest of the tier list. I just really wanted to breeze over the S+ tier, but everything else looks pretty good. Sheik in the A- is nice because she's a good character, again, that rewards you for putting in the work. And as a Sheik main myself, you know, she is incredibly hard to play, but she's worth it if you do master it. Like, you have to be incredibly fast with your hands and know what you're doing with Sheik, but once you get her down, you can really lock down characters and just make them like overwhelmed, honestly, with how her frame data and the combos she can do. Sheik's amazing. We have Sora in A-. Makes sense. Sora's really kind of obnoxious to deal with. His floatiness is annoying. I'm glad Greninja's in here. Greninja's definitely slept on. There's a lot of slept on characters in these tiers, obviously. As you can see, Falcon and B+ definitely makes sense. I think Falcon's an amazing character himself, but it's just recovery holds him back. Kind of the same thing with Falco, I guess. Having an explodable recovery, not being as solid as Fox, but still being an amazing character. You know, Hero being in B+, I definitely think he should be higher because of all the BS he can do with the RNG, but I guess it's not reliable and his frame data being kind of weak. But Hero is definitely one of my weaknesses. Bayonetta being in B+, definitely kind of surprised me. I thought she'd be a little lower, but she does have a lot of good combos still, even though her nerfs are, you know, obviously Smash 4 should be up here. And same thing with Luigi, even though they've been nerfed. Like, Luigi without his grab is just nowhere near as good of a character. Now that his grab is actually punishable now, you know, it is a little bit easier to fight him, but obviously he's got more range on it. So I mean, if I just want to look at the wider scope of this tier list, like I'm overall happy with the tiers. It's just I wish obviously Marth was better as a Marth main, but you know, Pac-Man and Game & Watch and Min are annoying to see in the top tier for sure. But I'm happy characters like Cloud and Wolf are top tier. Joker is really amazing to watch. Like I'm talking about like watchability, like fun characters that are people enjoy watching. We have a good amount of those characters in the top 20, top 15 or whatever in the S+ tier or S+ tier. Or S- tier. They have a, I guess, S middle tier. And then, you know, in the lower tiers, you got Wii Fit, Ridley, the Mii's, Robin, Mewtwo, Incineroar. Ike also fell off really hard. Ike was considered one of the best, but then people figured out how to play against him. Donkey Kong, Lucario, makes sense. Simon and Richter. I definitely think Simon and Richter are better than what people give them for. They have a really amazing advantage state, but a really bad disadvantage state. I guess that could be said about a lot of characters, right? Like Ganondorf, who's considered the worst. You got Dr. Mario down here, Zelda, King K. Rool, Little Mac makes sense. Little Mac's another case of Chrom where, you know, the recovery is so bad that you can't really put him above another character. So, yeah, that's pretty much the ultimate tier list. I didn't go over every single character. Obviously, that would take too long, but I just wanted to, you know, talk about my thoughts on where Marth places and the overall top tiers, you know. But yeah, that's the official first ultimate tier list after 3 years, after the first one, I guess. Here is the tweet from UltRank Super Smash Bros. You guys can check it out yourself. They also made an article talking about their methodology, analysis, the panelists, the people that run and whatnot, all the thoughts that went into it. So it's pretty interesting, honestly, if you want to check it out. And then they also have a Excel sheet for data as well. So that's pretty interesting if you want to check it out. But yeah, I just want to make this video talking about the tier list, you know, just talk about Smash Ultimate because, you know, it's a game I'm always playing, you know, and I will keep playing until they make another Smash game. And I'm really not thinking about, I don't want to think about the next Smash game, but you know, I'm glad that Ultimate is still going pretty strong, you know, 4 years into the game. So yeah, that is the video, guys. Hope you enjoyed. Let me know what you guys think about the tier list, or where would you place other characters if you agree with this tier list. I think I mostly agree with it. There's obviously some things I would change, obviously, most notably being Marth, but you know, just the fact that we have a tier list after this long is kind of nice just to look at, even though, like I said, tier lists aren't they aren't the end all be all, and they definitely can be annoying to talk about. You know, it's just still interesting to look at. But yeah, that's the video, guys. Hope you enjoyed. Leave a like if you liked it. Subscribe for more Smash videos and whatnot. Please stay safe out there. Peace out.